This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of Gonna Geek. Check out more podcasts at GonnaGeek.com and get ready because geekness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. one-shot number 10, The Avengers. We're a fan-based podcast on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general Marvel Universe because it gives us something to talk about in the off-season. Yay! Hey, just a reminder, you can go to our website, legendsofshield.com, find all the great ways to contact us, our Twitter accounts, our Facebooks, our voicemail line.
And by the time you listen to this, we will also have a Tumblr. But our voicemail line is 844-THE-BUS-1, 844-843-2871.
I have our consultant to fix the bus.
You do.
Alfred Pennyworth. He knows how to fix anything.
You know, I'm normally a Marvel person, but yeah, I do like Alfred.
I do too.
Oh man, did I just cross the streams there?
You just crossed the streams, but it's okay in this instance.
In this one instance, we could bring Alfred over, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I approve.
Sounds great.
We'll allow it.
Say for the last 2 weeks, we've been asking people to retweet us to give away a Providence Lanyard. But before we announce the winner, we're going to go through some of the replies. So, Lauren, you want to start?
I will, from Neil at Neil Isn't Witty. Because I make better pancakes than Fitz or Simmons, and who doesn't love pancakes?
I prefer waffles myself, but yeah, pancakes are cool.
French toast is where it's at.
And I also see a Mally.
It's a common name. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, let's see what Brandon has to say.
From my brother, Brandon. Why should you get the lanyard? Because I know how to put the hammer down.
That's good. That's good.
From at Darrell Wilson 1. Because I can also pass any polygraph test.
A fine skill to have, sir. But normally you have to tell the truth.
From Mike at Jarek, tracking IP, server located, agent activated, local IP identified, agents on site, orders to terminate. Hail Hydra.
Ooh. We have somebody tracking us now. This is getting interesting. We'll have to set up defensive measures.
And from Adam at Starsaber_222, why should you get the lanyard? Because I'm the person who has called in the most feedback as of one-shot number 8. And that is true.
As it is true, sir. Yes, you have. Keep the feedback coming. Thank you, everybody, for replying to our tweet and retweeting our tweet. That's great. But we have chosen a winner, haven't we, Haley?
Yes, we have. The votes are in, and Mike at Jarek will be getting his Providence Lanyard. Hail Hydra.
The Hail Hydra sold it for you, buddy.
Yeah, we did ask for what would entertain us the most, and we all just kind of laughed upon seeing that.
So go ahead, get a hold of us, send us an email or whatever, give me your address, and I will send you your very own Providence badge. Your lanyard is issued on a case-by-case basis. Congratulations. I love the Foley sound effects. It's great. Yeah. It's our budget, right?
Right.
Who needs a stinking soundboard?
I need a better mixer in order to do that. In the meantime, we have a lot of news this week. Haley, why don't you start us off?
The first link this week is just a little Facebook, Twitter quiz you can take. Which Marvel woman are you? I took it, and I got Carol Danvers.
Woo! I got Black Widow, which surprised me. I don't see it.
I got Captain America.
I think you might have taken a different quiz.
Yeah.
I actually didn't take it, but I can't wait to see what Marvel woman I might be. Well, I'll have to do that and report back next time.
Okay.
Yep.
But talking about Captain America.
Yes, speaking of Captain America, via comic book resources, On the 4th of July, Marvel announced, or teased, I should say, that there may be a new Cap or somebody putting on the cowl, the outfit, the spangly...
The wing head.
Yeah, the wing head, the spangly little outfit in the comics. This is not the first time it's been done, but this has to do with, okay, I'm very ashamed to say that I'm behind on reading comics. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently, and I have a backlog. But there has been some developments. I have a backlog.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I've read my first 3 comics now.
But there have been some events. Cap may be in a little bit of trouble, and somebody else might have to take over for him. And people are guessing at the identity of who might be. There might be a female Cap. There might be somebody who's previously. Bucky was Cap for a while when Captain America was quote unquote dead. I'm personally hoping for Patriot, because we haven't seen him in a while, and he wasn't allowed to be used in Young Avengers because they had plans for him. So fingers crossed. And also Shuri, who took over as Black Panther for a while. She's a she, obviously. So that would be kind of cool to get a female Captain America. But we'll see.
I also saw Sam Wilson Falcon possibly
taking it. Yes, that was also, it's kind of callous to say that, they might, or cynical, I should say, cynical to say that they might be doing that because of his recent popularity with the movies. But in the comics, he and Cap are incredibly good friends. They're best friends. So it's not too far of a stretch.
I look forward to seeing what's going on. Actually, I look forward to reading Captain America comics because, I haven't had a chance to yet.
He takes a while to show up in the Marvel continuity.
Well, he's been
from
frozen.
Silver Age. Yeah.
Yeah, he was originally from Vietnam in the comics, right?
No.
He's
World
War II.
They actually brought back a character that was created for World War II.
Right.
And they were like, why are we bringing this guy back now? Frozen.
Actually, they faked bringing him back a couple times first, and it was imposters, and then they finally brought him back in Avengers #4.
Wow. Which was what year did that come out?
I don't remember.
Okay.
1964-ish.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 5. I don't know.
Well, so how many years of Marvel Comics have you had?
Well, 75 years if you include the time with Timely and Atlas.
Okay.
Which some people are counting. For Marvel and Taschen, I think I don't know how to pronounce that, are working together to create a book. What do they call it? A magnum opus that's going to celebrate the 75 years of Marvel. It's going to be full of pictures and comic pages from the start of Marvel continuity in 1939 all the way up to the movies that are coming out in present day.
That would be cool for me.
Yeah.
Be like a quick read, Cliff Notes of Marvel Comics.
It's more than 700 pages of over 2,000 images.
Wow.
And a 4-foot accordion fold timeline.
Wow.
That is almost as tall as me.
I don't know if I have wall space in my office. I'll have to make some.
I need this.
Yes.
I need this.
Yes.
Did they say when it's going to be coming out?
I'm just looking again. On sale fall 2014.
Okay, so in time for the Christmas buying season.
$200.
Definitely in time for the Christmas buying season. Awesome. In the meantime, we've got some current things, as you were talking about, all the way up to the movies, but we also have the very first Marvel Netflix series in production, don't we?
Yes. Bleeding Cool has some links and video from Daredevil. And it's not a lot. There's a couple of set pictures. There's some really shaky, shot on somebody's iPhone footage of little redheaded kid running out in the street. So it's presumably, and apparently you can hear him say, "I can't see." So it's apparently his accident that turns him into Daredevil.
Ah, okay.
It's not a lot, but it's, kind of confirmation that yes, it's actually happening. It's not just, a cool, awesome dream that Netflix is working with Marvel to make, these series. It's actually a thing.
Mm-hmm. So they are giving us an origin story.
At least in, if not one episode, a flashback or something. Yeah.
Mm.
We will see,
We will see, but Daredevil won't.
But
I had to put that in there. Sorry, guys. And we also get to talking about somebody for flashbacks. We're talking about some future movie appearances or not for Clark Gregg.
Yes, on comicbook.com, the headline is Agent Coulson won't appear in Avengers Age of Ultron, will likely appear in Avengers 3.
I hope they're just keeping it secret.
Yeah, according to the new issue of Total Film, which is a magazine that I once accidentally subscribed to back when I was in high school because I was like, it has something about Star Wars in it. I need it. And then they were like, now you got to start paying us. And I'm like, haha, no. But there's kind of rumors about it, but nobody really knows. Could be kind of cool. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Again, it's nothing definitive.
I just hope he does. And we'll talk about that more during the movie later on. In the meantime, movies have writers, I think.
Several writers.
Possibly too many writers.
There is such a thing. And
yes.
So where are we with Ant-Man?
Okay. According to Latino Review, Gabriel Ferrari and Andrew Bearer have been hired on to rewrite the script while also serving as production writers during the shoot. Yeah, these two guys did a script which landed on, it's called The Blacklist. It's kind of like the best unproduced movie scripts every year.
Okay.
And they're also involved with the Sabrina the Teenage Witch remake.
They're remaking
There's going to be
again?
a Sabrina the Teenage Witch remake?
Apparently.
Remake, reboot? What are we talking about?
I'm just so happy. That's the best thing I've heard all day.
Was that a TV show?
Yes, it was
a comic and then a TV show. And the TV show was great. Like, the talking cat was the best character on the whole.
Oh, I remember
Salem.
the cat.
The best
Salem
thing is that,
was
like,
fantastic.
when he was actually talking, he looked nothing like the cat they used to, like, jump off of furniture and
Yes,
stuff.
the cat puppet.
I
No, but
remember
he
that.
was, I loved Salem so much because he was just like,
so snarky.
yes.
Wasn't that like Friday night TV
Yes, it was
at
on
the
Yes,
time?
it was TGIF.
Yeah.
You know, they just did the Girl Meets World premiere recently,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which, you know,
I didn't
not enough
watch it.
Feeny.
Not enough what?
Not enough
Mr.
Feeny.
Feeney. He was the principal.
Oh.
Oh, the teacher or the principal?
Well,
The principal.
teacher, then principal, then
Yeah.
professor.
I'll have to claim ignorance
It's been
on all this
so
stuff.
many years since I watched that show.
I rewatched all of it a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Like-
it's all on YouTube.
Oh, hanging it out there. Hey,
You want to get back on topic?
Yeah, we should
no,
probably
no,
get back
no,
on
no. Yeah, sure, why not?
We can stay off topic. I'm fine.
topic.
I think we're better off topic today. So, Avengers 2, we might see Sebastian Stan?
There is a rumor, and by a rumor, I mean a deleted tweet courtesy of Oh No They Didn't. Apparently, his trainer, who has a Twitter account.
That's one of your favorite websites, isn't it?
It is. I waste entirely too much time on there and Tumblr, and yeah, just don't question it. But somebody tweeted Sebastian Stan's trainer and said, Sebastian's preparing himself for the Avengers, isn't he? That's why he's at your gym all the time. To which the trainer, at Don Saladino, replied with a thumbs up emoji. And the tweet was deleted at some point between July 3rd and today. But yeah, possibly. I would kind of hope so. I want all the Winter Soldier that we can get because, I mean, Bucky is one of my favorite characters, so I'm not going to say no to more Winter Soldier.
We're gonna have so many like tormented heroes in this one.
Give
We've
me
got
all of them.
We've got the Vision. We've got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Just give me all of them. All of the angst.
This is gonna be so good, guys.
Right?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, the first one did so well, and just had a chance to rewatch it for this podcast, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the next one to come out. Actually, really, I can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy to come out. Oh, by the way, Lauren,
Yes.
as promised, did you actually catch the first 17 minutes on Monday?
I did.
Oh, do tell, because I did.
Okay. So it was pretty packed, and it was, yes, IMAX 3D, the whole, So, okay, I'm going to try to do this as spoiler free as I can while at the same time being informative. You know how in the commercials there's parts where they're in a prison and then there's parts where they are obviously not in a prison? This part takes place in the time where they are in prison. and then to the time where they are trying to not be in prison. So I think it's not a spoiler to say that they break out of prison.
They make a decision to no longer be in prison.
Yes. They and the prison are no longer coexisting in the same place at the same time. And this is done with a plan. And the plan is concocted by Rocket, who continues to be probably my favorite character in this movie. Also Groot. I really need those Pop Funko figures. I'm going to go get them this weekend.
I took a look at those, by the way. They look pretty neat.
Also, we got shirtless Chris Pratt. So that was awesome. I mean, it's
all
what you
the
saw
Chris's need to be shirtless.
All the
Always.
Chris's.
Do you think he was CGI'd at all?
I don't care.
Yeah, don't care. But no, it's that little glimpse that you see in like the previews of him looking like serious. Apparently it's like you know how in like every prison movie there's a scene where they're like, okay, everybody gets deloused or whatever. It's kind of like that.
I don't think. Do we still delouse prisoners?
I don't know. Do we?
I have
Don't
no
we
idea.
have to?
I mean, they get cleaned, but I don't think they get deloused.
I don't know. Apparently my knowledge of things stops somewhere around
I spent
like
so little time
the
in prison.
1800s.
Well, I spent some time as a grand jury foreman, and one of the things that we had to do was actually
Deloused prisoners?
No, we had to
Budget
go to
cuts, man. Put them to work.
we had to go to the prison, and we had to do a quarterly report on it. It's one of the things I can't remember if it's federal law or state law or whatever, and there has to be an independent citizens group that reviews the conditions in the county jail. So they choose the grand jury to go out and tour it and do that. So we got to do that, and we saw the rooms, the in-processing rooms and the sanitation in-processing rooms and stuff, but I don't remember if they did delousing or not. Wow.
I think
again,
as part of intake, like, don't they take the shower and then they get issued their clothes and they do the check every,
Yeah.
squat and cough?
You don't see the check every orifice part in the movie.
Oh, in Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
So
But,
shirtless Chris doesn't have to
Shirtless
bend
Chris
over?
is a yes. Bend over and, all that is a no.
Does Raccoon get deloused?
Yes. Okay, you know how, like, have you ever, like, tried to give a cat a bath?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's
It's
kind of
always
like
a terrible experience.
I've actually had the unfortunate experience to try to give a guinea pig a bath.
Oh, we used to have to do that in my science class because the guinea pig would poop himself all the time.
Well,
He was
yeah.
kind of an older guinea pig, so every Friday it was time to bathe the guinea pig.
See, every time I've given my cat a bath, for just like a day or two solid, he stares at me like I kicked him.
And then he's plotting ways to get back at you.
See, ours are always like incredibly nice to us after because they're like, you're never going to do that again to us, right? Maybe if we're really nice. Have we angered you somehow?
Oh no, we angered the food giving gods. We need to be better. No. Oh, that's funny.
But
Are they nice to you when you redo their litter boxes?
the cats?
Yeah.
No, they don't care.
Okay.
No, they're only nice to us when we feed them, when we bring them back from the vet, because again, it's that same sort of thing. Like, what have we done to not, what can we do to not anger you?
Okay.
And for about the first half hour after we get back from vacations.
And after that is they rule the house.
After that, they ignore us.
Ignore you.
Exactly. But let's see what else. So it's really funny. A lot of the audience was just like laughing. Also, we got a free poster. It's very like 80s retro kind of looking. It was great.
Sweet.
Yes.
Nice.
You'll have to take a picture of it and show it to us.
I will.
For those that do want the spoilers, we have a link in our show notes to a description that Nerdist put out.
Yes. I have not seen the 17 minutes, nor do I want to see the spoilers. So
Yeah. I read the first paragraph and it agrees with Lauren that it's just really, really good.
Yes,
then-
it's again, the more that I see of it, the more I just cannot wait for this movie to come out. I went with a friend of mine who I will give a shout out to. Hey, Jubilee, what up?
Hey, Julie.
And Jubilee, like the X-Men.
Hey, Jubilee.
And yeah, we were just so completely excited. And then I started nerding out about some of like the character origins that I knew about, which admittedly is not much. I'm not the hugest Guardian of the Galaxy expert.
I don't think anybody was before this movie came out.
Oh, I was at the comic book store today. I was just passing by, so I went in to try to see what I could get or not. And it might have been the comic book store I went into. There just wasn't a lot there of anything, really. And just not a lot of Guardians, you're right. Although it might be severely picked over because of the upcoming movie. So I don't know. They had a pre-movie trade paperback that came out, and I took a look at it. It looked very kind of childish compared to the Conquest Annihilation stuff that I've been reading digitally. So I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited to see the movie because, of course, it is a Marvel movie, and they haven't steered me wrong yet since the 2008 Iron Man. So I'm looking forward to it. If they do, then I don't know, but it's got to be better than Transformers 4, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Do you have anything else to say about the 17 minutes?
There was what I understand is the extended trailer at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
We also have images from the entire Guardians of the Galaxy that made it onto Marvel.com site, don't we, Haley?
Yes, we do. Some of them are just stills of stuff you've seen in the trailer. Some of them are pictures that have been out there before. And then there's some new stuff. My favorite of these 25 new images that Marvel put out was the one of a little stuffed Rocket Raccoon on the set.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, it was fantastic.
To size, too, I would say.
Yeah, it's probably to get the shots lined up and everything like that.
Right.
And then they've got Sean Gunn standing right next to it in the green suit for the mocap.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is up with Ronan's face. Like,
it looks like there's like some sort of paint on it, maybe. I don't know.
But at the same time, there's this like crackly texture to it. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a burn or because it doesn't look quite so much like lingerie when you actually get a good look at it.
The Lauren facial lingerie report.
But yeah, Jubilee suggested like cybernetics, but then looking at this still, it looks like something between like burnt skin or burnt marshmallow and like
burnt
scales.
toast.
I don't really know.
Well, hopefully we'll find out a little bit more on August 1st.
Yes.
In the meantime, we have another new TV spot. I swear, if this movie wasn't coming out until next year, we'd get like 20 or 30 seconds of the movie at a time till we saw the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a new TV spot that Marvel put out, and then at the end, they tell you to go to Fandango and get an extended look. So we've got that extended look in our notes as well. And it's just, you keep getting a little bit more, and it's still awesome and fun.
They haven't run out of awesome and fun stuff, so it's not just a minute and a half of fun stuff. It's great.
And we find out that Star-Lord has 12% of a plan. That's as much as he's come up with.
Yes. Everybody started laughing right there.
Chris Pratt. That's great. Okay, you guys wrapping up for the news?
Yeah, I think that's about it. Go watch the videos. Go take the quiz. Tell us which Marvel woman you are.
I will. And I'll get back to you next week. All right, that's the news. And now, our feature presentation, our take on the Avengers, my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
I think it's everyone's favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 3 rankings right now. Yeah, Avengers. This Stargate Pioneer will not be changing his MCU film ranking this week. Avengers is number 1.
What was it, 2009 or 2010 when they announced they were going to do this? And then not long after, they were like, and Joss Whedon's going to write and direct it. And I was like, oh, that's going to work.
Pretty much everyone was like, oh, that's going to work.
Now,
yeah.
I can't remember. Did they make the announcement around Comic-Con, or was it before that and they just showed up at Comic-Con for the panel?
They made the announcement, I think, a little before Comic-Con. But I know that Mark Ruffalo has a story about how when they announced him there, but then Robert Downey Jr. introduced him and said, and reprising his role as Bruce Banner is Mark Ruffalo, and everyone, yeah, who? Because they thought when he said reprising, and they thought it was Ed Norton, and everyone had been real excited about that.
That's probably something Robert Downey Jr. did just to knock everybody off their, well, what happened? He probably thought it was funny, and it didn't come out very well. I don't know. He's usually on key. He usually knows what he's talking about. But this movie was, I hadn't watched in a while, and it was just amazing. I was like, oh, why don't I watch this every night? I should watch this every night because it's that good. It's great. I know some people out there, Wing is one of them, our consultant. He doesn't care for it as much as...
Wing is wrong.
Yeah.
Wing is wrong.
Wing is wrong, Cass. Woo!
Woo!
So, yeah, but it's great. I love the music. It's grand from Alan Silvestri.
Yep.
And I love everything that is done in here. And you think this has been the plan all along, but Joss Whedon in the commentary tells us no. Well, I think all the scenes were in the plan, but they weren't cut in this way.
Yeah,
so.
when you listen to the commentary, you find out exactly like what was added, what was lost, what fell in by accident.
Yeah, there's a lot of cuts that are very symbiotic from one scene to the next. And he said, yeah, that actually was all accident.
Complete and total accident.
Yeah. And he would not mention it on the commentary.
Totally not mentioning it in the commentary.
Right. So I watched the movie from one main aspect and a side aspect. The main one was S.H.I.E.L.D, of course. Mm-hmm. I wanted to relate it to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And this movie, especially with the commentary, really set the tone for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it set the tone for Coulson a lot more than anything else. And Joss Whedon is responsible for about 90% of it. And then Kevin Feige is responsible for killing off Coulson.
Yes, which he takes pains to mention in the commentary.
Joss Whedon, yeah, it's not me. It wasn't me. He would have killed us somebody. It was just a question
he would have. But...
Right. So, yeah, I was watching it with S.H.I.E.L.D. and really, at the end of the movie, you get the sense that the public is really behind the Avengers, but you don't really have a great sense on whether they're behind S.H.I.E.L.D. or not, which impacts later on in Captain 2.
Yeah, well, Avengers are the nice public face. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the shadowy government organization who, stays in the background.
And tries to nuke New York.
Well, S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't try to nuke New York. The World Security Council did.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Total.
But of course, in the average person's mind, shadowy government agency equals shadowy government agency. How many people could tell you what the difference between the CIA, the NSA, and the FBI are? Like just average person off the street.
I can, but I'm not the average person
exactly.
off the street. Yeah.
If you're like news junkie, political junkie, that sort of thing, you can, or if it's your job or something like that, you know.
Or if you watch a ton of TV.
Or if you watch a ton of
no way. TV gets that crap wrong all the time. Like
I think they do a pretty good job of getting like broad definitions of the different organizations.
Maybe, but the NSA is always touted as this secret, wet ops organization, and that ain't the truth at all. They don't have any wet ops.
It's like all like tech nerds.
Exactly.
I know because I've been to career fairs where NSA was just looking for computer science majors. That's all they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they put out those almost on an annual basis. I don't know if they skipped years or not with the recession, but they have these little cipher puzzles that they put out there, and anybody that can decrypt them, they win a chance at an interview, I guess.
So
with
it's
NSA
like the art school draw me things that you mail in.
Yep. Yeah, it is. They are looking for talent. And now that they're U.S. Cyber Command, they do the same thing with computer stuff as well. But we're not talking about the NSA. We're talking about S.H.I.E.L.D.
We're talking about, although we were still talking about secret government agency.
Yeah,
but
true enough. And I need to delve into the history of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I'm not sure exactly who do they answer to, the World Security Council, who controls them.
Interestingly enough, I remember back when this movie first came out, apparently the U.S. government did not, like the military, you know how usually like with Transformers and all that, it's
right.
like, oh, the Air Force worked with them and all this stuff. Like one of my best friends actually knows people who were in Transformers because they needed the AWACS.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was no clear chain of command in this movie, the U.S. military would not assist them in filming it.
Yeah, in the commentary, Joss talks about all the planes that you see in the movie, all the actual planes, not the CGI planes, were actually private planes. So that's why you don't get to see any static military planes like on the deck of the helicarrier or whatever.
Yeah.
You get to see a CGI F-35 and the, what are they called, the jump jets? Those are all CGI, but you don't get to see a real state-of-the-art military thing like you did in Iron Man or Iron Man 2. Then the government the military fully supported that. They didn't with this one. And also, S.H.I.E.L.D., this is the first mention that S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually tracking all of these people with special abilities. And
not necessarily the first mention. They did mention in Iron Man 2, it wasn't so much a mention as it was kind of an indirect thing of Fury saying, like, you're not the only person I got my eye on. And then you see that map that had the little things. But yeah, this movie does confirm that.
Right. And what did Coulson call it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Did he call it the Rolodex, or was it something else? Can't remember.
The Index, I think. The
Index. Yeah. So this was basically the first actually overt mention of it at all. And S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know. I get what Fury's trying to do, but in the end, it's just silly to think that they contain powerful alien. I don't see how they're doing the best they can. Nobody else is in their position to do what they're chartered to do, but to protect. But
they're doing the best they can with what they've got. But it's that whole, okay, y'all have seen Angel, right?
Yes.
No.
It's back in season 5. Angel and Spike are having this argument about caveman versus spaceman.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to with this. It's a whole bunch of cavemen versus one spaceman who wins. And it was very nearly the spaceman. If they didn't have
a Hulk.
And a bunch of functional, to draw out the analogy, functional spacemen on their side.
Okay.
I would say Hulk equals caveman, so caveman beats spaceman.
It's hard to argue that, because Hulk is definitely
Hulk
caveman.
Literally beat him into the ground. So
puny god.
That was great.
Part was so good. Like, I still remember seeing that in the theater, and the whole theater just packed, midnight showing, everything was packed. Everybody just, you could not hear the puny god. I didn't hear that. I know.
I didn't hear that until the second time.
Yeah, I had to go on YouTube to see it that next day because I couldn't hear it.
And Josh said in the commentary that if he hadn't done anything in the last 10 years of filmmaking, if he would have sat on his laurels and done nothing but that one scene, he would be fine with it. He enjoyed it that much.
Like, if something had happened and they'd said, oh, we're not going to be able to make the movie, we had like budget problems or actor contract problems or something, so we're just going to release this one scene that they already did the CG for. That would have been fine.
Right. I sure wish Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had more action sequences in it, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I understand it's TV versus movie, but Arrow seems to do it okay. And I know we talked about it before, like the cast is not exactly right for it.
Arrow also doesn't have as big of a CG budget, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Like, it's a lot more practical effects and a lot
Except for
smaller
the arrows.
scope.
Except for the arrows.
Yeah, but they don't have to...
Because they don't want to accidentally shoot an extra.
Yeah, but they don't have to CG a flying car or, lightning everywhere, or the bus or anything like that. Yeah, it's a lot... The show Arrow is a much smaller scope.
Mm-hmm. Well, irregardless, I just wish that they would...
That is not a word, yes.
Yeah, it's the word I use, though.
The word is regardless.
Regardless, whatever. I know SP is wrong. Get it out of your system. So regardless, I just wish that even if it's on a smaller scope, I wish that they would have action sequences defined in each episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that is Marvel. You take a look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can't get around it. It's what makes the movie so great. It's not Michael Bay action, like, okay, it's action without any meaning whatsoever.
You mean without the butt shots?
Yeah. Well, and there's that too.
It's not just a butt shot. You have to start at the ankle, go up the leg to the butt.
And then everything goes real slow.
Now, I mean, you guys have seen shirtless Chris scenes for the past, month or so.
3 shirtless Chris's does not make up for the years and years and years of gratuitous Megan Fox butt shots. I mean, give her a break. She's only one woman.
And thank goodness for that, too. We have a lot of just the one woman out there. Lindsay Lohan, for example. Oh, have you seen pictures of her lately? Ugh.
I try not to.
I know. Anyway, I just wish that there were small, defined action sequences that were good in each episode or most of the episodes. And
like the Ward May fight at the end of the last one?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. That nailed his foot to the floor, that sort of stuff.
Nail Hydra.
Yeah. That's awesome. We should do more like that.
What I'm hoping for in the second season is that because it seems like it's going to be a smaller scope, and because it seems like it's going to be, less dependent on the S.H.I.E.L.D. budget and technology, that we will get more like smaller scope action like that.
That'd be good. And one thing I did notice, and I wonder how it's going to transition into season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In this movie particularly, you see how much Coulson is really trying to identify and basically befriend these guys. And you know how close that Tony is to Phil at the end, especially since it bugs Tony so much that Phil died at the end. You don't really see it until that point in time because he's got the wall around him. He won't accept the folder from Phil or whatever. But in the end, he really likes Phil.
Yeah.
And I think that
just makes me so sad.
Yeah, right. I think that Pepper Potts put in there led credence to Coulson as a person and as a likable person and everything. And I'm glad she was in there. But Coulson misses Tony. He misses all these guys, and he can't. He's dead, and he can't tell anybody that they're alive. And there's a mention to it at the end where he was telling, it was a Marina Hill, that, hey, tell Tony, I'm sorry, yeah, he thinks I'm dead, you can't. And that really affects Tony. After Avengers, and we'll see that in the next couple of movies that we watch, you see how much it affects people. You see how much it affects Tony. You see how much it affects in Captain 2, everything that's going on. And it affects Coulson a lot. Not just that he was killed. This Battle of New York changes everything, and
his idol thinks he's dead.
Yes.
Well, for him, like everyone thinking he's dead is the same as everyone else being dead for him.
Yeah.
Like he can't interact with them in any way.
Right. So I hope that they fix it. And we were talking about it before in the news section that, he might not be in Avengers 2, but he might be in Avengers 3. At some point in time, he's got to come out to the Avengers. I mean, otherwise it's just going to eat him alive. It really will. It affects him. And I know the whole Tahiti thing, and we probably still have to figure out what was put in his system and with all the, scroll writing on the end? At the end?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have to figure that all out. But something is going on with Coulson, but there's the human side to Coulson that has been affected too. So, and
speaking of human side, okay, so before Avengers came out, everybody kind of liked Coulson because he's like, the normal guy. He's the one we all kind of relate to because he's the guy without any powers. He's the guy just doing his job. And he's the guy just kind of always getting thrown into weird stuff. This kind of solidified him firmly as like one of us because he is a fanboy.
Yeah, slight foxing around the edges.
Yeah, I think that was a brilliant move on their part to kind of give us that emotional in. And then I think that's probably why it affected everyone so strongly with the whole Coulson lives thing, because we just basically saw ourselves get killed off in a movie. And bringing him back for S.H.I.E.L.D. for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like a validation for the fans. Like, yes, we matter. Yes, we're important.
Right.
It's not just Coulson who's important. It's us because the fandom, the fans as one kind of, brought it about.
Right. And I didn't realize what until you listen to the commentary, you don't realize what a big hand that Joss had in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson you know what he's done with the Marvel Universe because Avengers, but a lot of the stuff that he did with Coulson, he made him the true collector. He made him the fanboy. He made him likable specifically, so he had to kill him off as per Kevin Feige, although I think it was a joint effort, but that's the public stance on it. And Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D., the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show that this podcast is about, was defined in this movie. Now, of course, there was S.H.I.E.L.D. before, and we talked about it all the way from Iron Man, but this is the start of what we have. And, of course, it was all destroyed, but it all defined Coulson, and director Coulson, as we have now, he's the one running the show. And I think all these experiences, especially the Battle of New York, have really defined him.
Yeah, going forward, we'll see how much of what all this was informs, S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0.
Right. Although, another thing that I was thinking about through this movie was, we don't see Bill Paxton's character. We don't see Melinda May. We don't see Grant Ward. We don't see Tripp.
We see Sitwell.
We see Sitwell, but he doesn't have a speaking role.
I think he says a few lines.
Oh, he does? Okay.
I think so. But yeah, like, every time I saw him, I was like, we were rooting for you.
Yeah. You suck. Right. And that's the other minor thing that I was been watching these movies for is looking for a Hydra. And I know Lauren and Haley, you both have been watching these a little bit more for Hydra than myself.
Well, anything that we see in it is going to be kind of reading into it after the fact, because like, they said in the S.H.I.E.L.D. panel at Comicpalooza, like they said in a bunch of interviews, they didn't really know where they were going with this until way afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many points where, after the fact, you could look at it and you could be like, oh, well, here's where you could clearly see, because Hydra in this movie has just as much to lose as S.H.I.E.L.D., because the Chitauri and Loki are a complete outside force. So you could kind of see this as S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra working together against a common enemy. It's just that S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't know it.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Hydra, well...
Like, I kind of wonder if there were, like, some Hydra dudes on the council, and they were like, oh, yep, we got to bomb New York.
Well, there was one. There was the general secretary.
Right. So that was just their, like, yeah, we got to deal with this major alien invasion, but, we can also start moving some other pieces into position for our own plans.
Right. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah, in kind of a making all the pieces fit after the fact thing. That could be why they were so quick to do that instead of, starting evacuation.
It might have started Fury thinking that he might have had an internal force against him, which really comes out in Captain America 2, but he thinks that...
the seeds could have been planted here.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. There is something a little off. I mean, we should have all been one team here, and we're not, so...
And if you've seen the deleted scenes,
yes.
You can see where they were kind of, like, a lot of them are about Maria Hill. Maybe they were trying to start pushing her in their own direction.
The alternate beginning and ending.
Yeah. And she totally went Team Fury.
She did at the end. It's like, none of us are going to roll over on him. Good luck.
I should have your job within the day.
You going to get a chair? So another big beef that a lot of people have, and I certainly do, is secondary characters. Now, I get that there's only so much you can do in a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, right? You have too many characters, you have too many plot lines, you can't really do it. And I was thinking, if Marvel really wants to push this, and they could now, and they want to bring everyone together, and maybe not everyone, but most people together, you get the War Machine, and you get the Falcon, and you get all Pepper Potts and whatever, all in a movie. If you could construct a 3-movie Avenger arc, like Star Wars, from front to end, you have secondary characters that take on important roles, like Wedge Antilles, for instance.
Woo!
The hero of the rebellion, right?
There was a website back in the mid to late 90s, all about how Wedge was the behind-the-scenes secret hero of Star Wars. It was like, here's every scene, and here's how Wedge secretly saved the day. And I can't for the life of me remember what it was called.
I never saw that website, but I've heard talk of it recently, especially over on the Star Wars Minute, when they were doing Star Wars, which now they've just wrapped up Empire. It's definitely a good podcast to go through. You might think it's a bit tedious, but they make it fun. And it's a short podcast. They don't do an hour on 1 minute. They do like 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes on a minute. But anyway, if you do a 3-movie arc like that, you can bring out the secondary characters into definitive things. Lord of the Rings, there's a great example too, right? Where you have...
So what you're saying is that we need a 4-hour extended edition? I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they could make that, but if you push the movies to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you could do 3 back-to-back on Christmas seasons and then intertwine secondary character movies, main character movies, but secondary movies throughout the year as well, if they're going to release like 3 or so. And we've seen the schedule, and it's not going to happen right now, but it's all possible. And that is a way to get the secondary characters out, because if you don't, it's
like a movie of the quote-unquote sidekicks being like, you know what? We're tired of being left behind. Let's go do our thing. So it's like War Machine, Pepper's Rescue, Darcy, the Warriors 3, Sif, And they all like team up and go like, I don't know, fight crime in like New York or something.
Well, what if like, you know, the thing with Ultron is happening and they've got the Avengers dealing with it, and then some other major disaster happens at the exact same time, and it's like, oh crap, we need a B team. Bring in the Avengers.
Basically, they're the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, even in this movie with Pepper Potts, she was at the beginning to introduce Coulson, but then she says she's going to fly to New York. And then the next scene that you see, like during the Battle of New York, she's on the plane just watching it. If I'm Pepper Potts and I know that Tony is in that, I'd be calling his butt. I mean, that is Pepper. She doesn't
want to distract him right now.
Distract him.
I get that, but she's...
It's the same thing of like, if, you know, you're in some sort of relationship, be it a family relationship, a romantic relationship, a friend relationship, whatever, with a cop or a firefighter or something like that. And you see this, you know, thing going on TV, like, you know, a standoff or a big fire or something like that. And you're like, oh no, they're there. I can see them there. You don't call them to figure out what's going on. They're doing their job.
I get that, but that's just not Pepper. I mean, take a look at Iron Man 2. When Pepper is basically bickering, once Black Widow enables the communication between the two, they go at it for quite some time until they figure out that they each have to do something and they go do it. But in this case, she is literally sitting on the plane doing nothing. You bet your butt she'd be on the phone.
But no, in Iron Man, she didn't call him. She got connected to him.
Right.
Yeah, and here she is not connected to him. He is trying to call her. She's not picking up.
I can't imagine not having your phone in your hand.
That's
in that
my
moment.
point.
You know?
She'd be
because you would be
over
like
that.
watching the news and tweeting your friends about
aliens, so I can see kind of being so shocked that you're just kind of sitting there.
All right.
Well, speaking of like the characters and what we did and didn't see, at the beginning of the movie, we get like a little bit of everyone doing their own thing before going and teaming up to be the Avengers, except for Thor. Like, we don't get anything from him until he lands on the plane.
Which I'm fine with, because that was an awesome entrance.
Well, yeah. But, like, I would have liked to see him, you know, chilling on Asgard for a few minutes and then be like, oh, gots to go.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a good shot to get Idris Elba in.
I think they covered that in the comics. There was some, like...
lead-ins to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there still should have been a cameo with somebody, whether it's...
Technically, there's sort of an allusion to Odin when Loki and Thor are talking and you see two ravens fly by.
Well, they do talk about Odin using his special energy to get him
Dark energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's references, but I mean, how did he know that Loki was screwing around and that sort of thing? They could have done something on that.
That was from the comics. It's like Frigga found him.
Well, they should have. They could have put a scene in that. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, they could have done that while they were filming Thor, the original Thor, as well. But
well, they probably didn't have a script yet at that point.
Yeah.
Josh did mention that rewrites were going on at the same time, which in the film industry is apparently very hectic. But since in the TV industry, you're doing multiple stages of production all the time because you have episodes in multiple stages of production, that he was very comfortable with that. It's not his preference, obviously, but they were rewriting scripts while they were shooting things, apparently. So, yeah, you're right. It would have been hard for them to roll that into Thor. I guess hindsight's 2020, but I have loved how everything's pulled together. This is what makes this movie so great, is each storyline, particularly from Iron Man 2 on forward, really folded into this. This was one of I can't remember any other movie franchise out there that have successfully done this. I mean, Harry Potter was one big long storyline. Lord of the Rings was a trilogy from the get-go. Star Wars, same thing. I mean, nobody else has pulled this off.
This is like patchwork, and it turns out really well. My one complaint with the Avengers, and watching it again, I'm kind of reminded of it, is that there's parts where the pacing dragged, especially, I always feel like there's a little bit too much Avengers on Avengers fighting. The whole Hulk in the helicarrier always feels a bit too gratuitous. Yeah. I know the point is that it's supposed to be Loki's distraction, but what does
the Hulk have against Black Widow? Seriously.
No, at that point, he's like being manipulated by Loki.
Yeah.
But
it's not against her in specific.
She's just in front of him.
She's just in the way. And basically, if you compare it to like the Hulk being in like a bestial state, he can smell fear.
She is definitely messed up.
Yeah. And she's definitely afraid of him. And I've seen some really good analyses on like why the Hulk affects her so much, because she's trained to be in perfect control of her emotions at all time. And this is just pure, unadulterated emotion.
Yeah, and it's like the only time in the entire movie where she's not in complete control of the situation.
Yes.
She has to really shake herself out in order to go take care of, is it Loki that she's on her way
Hawkeye.
to do? That's Hawkeye, yeah, that's right.
Where we get the battle of the fabulous asses.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of people have an issue, of course, with Jeremy Renner. Not Jeremy Renner, but...
Hawkeye's limited role.
Yeah,
including Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
And Josh said in the commentary, he said, look, yeah, it was very difficult to have to create this because he's just getting really introduced and you have to immediately turn him into this mindless bad guy. And it was just very difficult. So he did the best he could with the storyline he had. Looking forward to seeing his character develop. We're not going to see him before Avengers 2, right?
Nope.
Right. I was kind of hoping he'd be in Cap 2.
Ditto.
Right. I think a lot of people were wondering where he was.
There's some really good comics floating around Tumblr of what the hell was Hawkeye doing during Cap 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I'm done with this undercover mission. Calls S.H.I.E.L.D. Phone number not working. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like the last ship. You know, you go off to the Arctic and 4 months of incommunicado, and then you come back and the whole world's dead. It's a new show on TNT. You should check it out.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. There you go. We do, of course, get to see the start of the Phase 2 weapons that were eventually ferreted out by Hydra in the freezer and stuff like that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So this is where they were developed. We saw the Destroyer gun made after Thor.
I still call it Coulson's Revenge.
Right. And I didn't recognize where the name came from before I was going to state that. And I was going to go with your name, which is Coulson Revenge. I like that for the name of the gun.
It's from Marvel Avengers Alliance.
Although we're going to have to figure out how to repower it now. Did they figure that out in the comics?
I don't know, but we apparently got it working again for S.H.I.E.L.D.
I guess one last thing that I have written down that I didn't say. I love at the beginning how Coulson is just taking on the Russian to get Natasha to come in on the phone. We've got an F-22 8 miles out. You're going to demolish the block before they reach the lobby. Put the woman on. And then he just waits there while she, kicks their butts. It's great. Love it.
I love that she uses the exact same move with Loki, and you don't see it coming until she's like, oh, Banner, that's your play.
Right. She's awesome. It's you could see
Yes,
with
I
Loki,
love
it's
her.
like the one time somebody's gotten something over him. It's great.
He's so confused. He's like, wait, what?
She out-manipulated the god of manipulation.
That's how good she is.
Yeah, just right after the movie came out, everyone was like, why was she even in this movie? She didn't do anything except stand there and look good. I'm like, were you paying attention?
She did everything. What
She
movie were you
literally
watching?
did like everything in the movie.
She caught her own ride.
She
Needed
caught
a
her
lift,
own
though.
ride. She
shut down the
literally
portal
saved the
thingy.
world. She got the team together.
She didn't direct the missile. That was Tony.
Okay, yeah. But,
Yeah, but
she shut down the portal.
Yeah, she shut down the portal.
She didn't kill
She
any
brought the
of the
team
big.
together.
Yeah, she didn't kill any of the big monsters, though.
No,
but
she killed a lot of the
whole
little
bunch
ones.
little ones.
She did. She did.
More than Hawkeye.
Yes. There was a Saturday Night Live sketch with Jeremy Renner was on.
How
Where
many
there
arrows did you bring?
11.
I can put 12 in, but you've got to mash them together.
At least he did run out, though.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, I'm out of arrows.
And one of my favorite lines in the movie is when Tony is taking him up after the little I don't even know what to call it, the round.
Powwow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, clench up, Legolas. I love that.
Somebody asked Orlando Bloom about that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. I have to go watch that now.
Yeah. I wish his form on the bow was a little bit better, but
Everyone wishes his form on the bow was a little better.
yeah.
As in, like, better at all.
Right. Haley, do you have anything else you want to say about the Avengers?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember being in the theater, and they're on what looks like just, a regular battle carrier, and then it becomes the helicarrier, and I was just like, Oh yeah, the whole theater went nuts.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was one of those amazing moments.
It was.
What else? We see where Hill saw Thor's arms for the first time, and she knows he's a god. Science Brothers love at first technobabble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, there will be more Science Bros in the next movie. This has been confirmed on Twitter.
Awesome.
Mark Ruffalo introduced Robert Downey Jr. to the concept of Science Bros. They are both fans.
Awesome.
I ship it.
Who doesn't? Okay, so did you know that in fanfic, Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, and Cap all smushed together is called Stark Spangled Banner?
Nice.
Lauren, did you have anything else?
So right after this movie came out, I was like, oh man, I want a movie where it's like Nick Fury, Maria Hill, Coulson, Natasha, and Clint just all having adventures. And then we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I still want the first, but I was still so happy with the second.
Yeah.
I love secret agent adventures and kicking ass and so happy.
I'm still hoping we're going to get more Maria Hill next season.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be the main connection with any sort of Avenger because she is working with Stark, so, or at least with Pepper. So
maybe she can funnel them tech now that they don't have S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Or Fitz.
Somebody's gonna have to. Yeah, poor Fitz.
Too soon.
Well, we're halfway through the summer. At some point in time, it's not going to be too soon anymore.
Yeah, there is a point at time at which it crosses over into almost here.
Right. So this was a great movie.
Yes.
Loved it. One of my favorite movies of all time. And I need to watch it lots more. Every night.
Yes.
Should do it the Avengers Minute. That'd be awesome.
So in minute 43...
Okay, Lauren, first of all, you're going to have to go and listen to the Star Wars Minute to figure out what we're talking about. And then...
I haven't listened to it either.
Oh, really? Not at all? Yeah. Okay, the first couple, they're just figuring out their stance on everything. But once you get into like their second week or third week, it starts rolling at that point in time. And they get guests in and whatever. And they definitely know what they're talking about. And it's fun and it's funny. And it's movies that I've watched over and over and over again since I was young. So that was great. But there's probably somebody that's done an Avengers Minute. We'll have to look into that and see it next time. If not, we're going to so do it. All right. Are we wrapped up here?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
I would just like everyone to call into the Legends podcast, the main Legends podcast, and tell Wing he's wrong about Avengers.
Yes, please do.
Get on that.
That'd be awesome. And tell you what, I don't think they have a voicemail, so you can go ahead and use the Starling Tribune voicemail line, which is 612-888-CAVE or 612-888-2283. Go ahead, tell him he's wrong on Avengers. He'll get a kick out of that. Total kick. All right. So next week, we're obviously going to be talking about some Iron Man 3 and get some PSD Tony Stark, right?
Yep.
And go ahead, go to our website if you need to contact us, legendsofshield.com. We're hosted on the GonnaGeek.com network webpage, but all our contact information is on the top right-hand corner. The one thing that won't be there is our new Tumblr page that Lauren's setting up. Go ahead, enjoy. Lauren is great on the Tumblr. I just can't keep up with everything and produce podcasts. So,
as of right now, there's not much on there. It is legendsofshield.tumblr.com. Follow us, post Avengers stuff, post Marvel stuff so that I can blog it and share it with all the internet to find. And everybody can enjoy, and it's a nice big feedback of love.
absolutely. And call us at 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. I'd be interested in everybody else's take that went to go see the 17 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy, or just in general how excited or not that you are for Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, if you've been paying attention, odds are you will be excited about this movie. If you haven't been paying attention, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not excited. But
I don't know, maybe you just hate fun.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? There are curmudgeons out there. Absolutely. So until next week, I'm Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Haley.
I'm Lauren.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.